Aphrodite Khan believed that jail was the place where bad people were imprisoned, tortured, and killed. She was still under the impression that her mother has been stoned to death inside a Jeddah jail because she did something very bad. She also learned from Rani Krishna that her Saudi husband was murdered inside the Mumbai jail because he did something terribly evil. Therefore, when she was sentenced to 12 months in prison, she correctly assumed that she was not going to come out alive. She concluded that she was going to be beaten up and killed by the Indian police. Beginning the first week she spent in jail, she had reason to worry. Her fears were confirmed. First of all, because she was from Bollywood, the jail authority told her that she would be kept in solitary confinement and not allowed to mix with other inmates for her own protection. Accordingly, she was kept in a cell and not allowed to congregate with other inmates. However, soon she discovered the jailers had some different plans in mind. One day, 2 female guards came to her cell and led her out of her cell in the middle of the night. She was told it was to do with a police investigation. Innocently, Aphrodite believed them and went with them. Then, they took her in their police jeep while she was handcuffed and her feet chained. The 2 policewomen took Aphrodite Khan to someone's house. As soon as she was brought in, she saw a man with a big stomach and a bald head, dressed in casual civilian clothes. Aphrodite was surprised to see both the policewomen saluting the man and noisily shouting something in unintelligible English and stamping their feet. The man stood up from his couch and greeted her by saying, "Welcome to my humble abode, Miss Bollywood." Then, the 2 policewomen left the room and left her with their commander. At first, Aphrodite did not understand why the policewomen left and why they brought her to meet the man. However, when the man stretched out his arms and surrounded her body and began to kiss her mouth, she knew that she was brought there to be raped by him. She tried to free herself, but she couldn't. The man was stronger than her. He continued to forcefully kiss her and touch her all over her body. Aphrodite could smell a strong odor coming from his mouth. She understood him to be drunk. She recollected that whenever her Indian captor wanted to perform his ritualistic rape and abuse, he would drink and become meaner than mean. Aphrodite still believed that the male would beat and torture the female more if she refused to allow him to have sex with her. Therefore, from the fear of being beaten and tortured by the strong man, she submitted her body unto him and allowed him to impose his will on her surrendered body. That night, the man with the big belly raped Aphrodite many times until he finally fell asleep atop her body. Early in the morning, the same wicked policewomen came back and took her to the jail and locked her up inside her cell. One of them told her that if she complained to anyone they would send someone to come and kill her inside her cell. After a few days, the same 2 policewomen came to her cell again at night and took her to another police inspector's house. Although he did not get drunk, he was like the other and raped her repeatedly until morning. Once again, the 2 policewomen retrieved her in the morning and took her back to her cell. Within 3 months, Aphrodite Khan was raped by 6 police inspectors and 3 MPs from the government of Maharashtra. All 9 rapists used condoms because none of them wanted to impregnate her. Every one of them knew that, if she were to get pregnant with a child, he could be identified through his DNA if subjected to a paternity test. Most of them expected that other police inspectors and members of parliament might be interested in having sex with the Iranian heroine too. Therefore, each one was afraid to contract a sexually transmitted disease by sleeping with the waif of Bollywood. After 3 months, the Bollywood female prisoner, Aphrodite Khan, received a transfer order. According to the order, she was supposed to be transferred from the Mumbai Women's Jail to the Pune Women's Central Prison. The order was executed on the very same day. Aphrodite was accompanied by 2 female jailers and 1 male officer who drove the police vehicle. She was handcuffed and her feet chained together. On her way to Pune, the police truck took her to a farmhouse. It was the same house she was imprisoned in for many months. When she saw her former captor, she thought that he was going to kill her for daring to take him to court and telling the public what he had done to her in his farmhouse. Mahmud Khan mocked Aphrodite Khan and said to her, "Now look at you. You left the man who saved you from that Saudi old dog who abused you from the age of 7, and I made you a shining star in Bollywood. You rewarded me evil for my good. I took you out of your ugly black Islamic burqa and put you in the most beautiful dresses in Mumbai. You left me and went and listened to that fucking Hindu slut. What did she give you? She has placed you in a rotten Indian jail cell. Inside the Mumbai jail, you have become an unpaid prostitute. You are now like a public washroom that every fucking uncircumcised Hindu police inspector urinates inside your chut. What is better for you, to live in a palace and be the wife of the greatest, richest man in Mumbai, or to stay in a filthy Hindu dungeon and be the unpaid waif of Bollywood? Do you know why they are transferring you now from the Mumbai jail to Pune Central Prison? It is because some fucking Hindu politicians in Pune want to fuck you. Every uncircumcised Hindu infidel in the police department and the government of Maharashtra wants to fuck you. Have you gotten paid for being fucked by them? Can you stop them from urinating in your vagina?" The evil man paused and looked for a response from Aphrodite. When she remained silent, he continued to pour the filth out of his mouth to satisfaction. "The filthiest prostitute on Ferris Road has more guts and honor than you because she would not allow any man to fuck her if he did not pay her price. You are the only unpaid waif in Mumbai. If you are a true Muslim girl, you would have killed yourself from the first day you got raped by the fucking head of the CID. You just opened your legs and allowed that filthy fucking Hindu man to fuck you in his house throughout the night without resisting or fighting or screaming for help. Then, he spread the word around his corrupt circle of friends. So now, every one of them wants you in his bed. Do you think if you were still under my protection that any one of them could dare to touch even your finger?" Mahmud Khan paused again and looked sternly in her face. Then he raised his voice loudly to make himself clearer, "Let me tell you one thing. I could have killed you inside that jail if I wanted to. I could have put poison in your food or sent someone to kill you inside your cell. I could have paid a couple lakhs of rupees to the nurse there and gotten you injected with the HIV virus. I did none of this for only one reason, because you are a Muslim girl. Moreover, I could have paid a few lakhs of rupees to some of my friends in the police department to fix you up with a serious crime. I could have kept you in jail forever if I wanted to. However, I have decided to punish you in a more painful way for humiliating me before those Hindu infidels. I have already paid some important lawmen in the Mumbai Police Department and made them promise me they will deport you to Iran as soon as you complete your 1 year inside that filthy Indian jail. Let that fucking Hindu whore stop you from returning to that primitive and backward Iranian society from where you came. Do you know what is going to happen to you when you reach Tehran? You will have no one, no family or anyone to take care of you. You are still childish and a very dumb girl. You are going to become a hooker on the streets of Tehran. You will either die as a stray bitch on the streets of Tehran or be stoned to death for being a prostitute. Go back to where the men like to beat women just for walking down the street with nothing on their head." After lecturing her and filling her heart with indescribable fears, Mahmud Khan once again raped Aphrodite Khan in a very painful and cruel way. He did not ask the policewomen who brought her to remove the handcuffs and chains from her hands and legs. He just pushed her to the ground and began to beat and rape her in front of them. This time, he slapped and kicked her as if she wasn't a human being. He used a stick instead of a whip and hammered her body mercilessly. He was full of uncontrolled anger. He used her body to appease his rage before he raped her. It was the most painful sexual abuse she ever being subjected to. She thought that he was going to beat her to death. She screamed to the top of her voice and begged for mercy, but no one dared rescue her from the devil. She cried and cried until she lost her voice. The evil one continued his abuse until she lost consciousness. She was nothing more than a punching bag to even the score. When she regained consciousness, Aphrodite Khan found herself once again inside the back of a police van. She thought that she had some kind of horrifying nightmare. However, the terrible pain in her body and private parts made her remember her brutal rape and torture by her former Indian captor, Mahmud Khan. She was breathing with much difficulty. When the truck reached Pune Central Prison, the female guards informed the jail authority that the Iranian girl tried to run away from them while they were on the highway. For that reason, they battered her mercilessly in order to subdue her and prevent her from escaping. Aphrodite Khan was taken directly to the hospital and admitted into ICU. Her body was seriously injured from bruising and abrasions from head to toe. She remained in the hospital for 1 week before the doctors declared her physically fit to be returned to prison. As Mahmud Khan had prophesied, her stay in Pune was plagued with politicians and police inspectors who each had their way with her. The unpaid Bollywood waif spent 3 months in Pune Central Prison before she was transferred back to the Mumbai jail. During those 3 months, she was raped by 3 political party leaders and 5 top police inspectors. When she was brought back to Mumbai, some of her former rapists demanded that she be brought back to their houses for nightly visits, and the cycle started again. While Aphrodite was going through her personal hell in the Mumbai jail, Mahmud Khan had completely forgotten about her, and at ease with how matters had been resolved. He felt a great relief after thoroughly releasing his anger on her body the night she was delivered to his farmhouse. He knew that he had already bribed several police officers and made them arrange for her deportation out of India as soon as she completed her 12 months in jail. He had also found a young beautiful 19-year-old Hindu girl who agreed to be his secret mistress with the promise to make her a film star in Bollywood. Moreover, he concluded that his blackmailer was satisfied with the 30 crores he had given him and destroyed the videos. Meanwhile, Aphrodite Khan had completed 11 months inside the prison. She had only 1 month left to go. At that time, Mahmud Khan happened to be at his farmhouse with his new young mistress when someone called his cell phone. He was reclining on a summer chair by the swimming pool while his new mistress was swimming in her sexy black bikini. He was drinking Kingfisher beer. He picked up his cell phone and looked at the number. He recognized the number as one of his former girlfriends out of Bollywood. She was a middle-aged lady who used to be one of his secret-kept wives when she was a teenager. She was the one who hooked him up with his present young lover. Therefore, he switched on his phone and said happily, "Hello Mrs. Sajid Hussain. Something terrible is showing on TV, Mr. Khan, that you should be aware of. Switch on the TV and go to channel 13. Before the call, Mahmud Khan was in the midst of enjoying his pre-sex beer while looking at his lovely 19-year-old toy. Before he could find out more, his ex-girlfriend hung up on him. Temporarily interrupted and amused by the call, but knowing that his former girlfriend would not call him on his private phone number unless it was very important, he decided to allot a few minutes to satisfy his curiosity. The voice on the phone sounded adamant. He thought that he might see the airing of some nasty Bollywood scandal, which made good material for gossip later on. He left his mistress playing in the pool and went into his bedroom, flicking on the 58-inch widescreen TV. It was the same room that Ifat Khan was sexually abused and tortured. Nothing had changed except its new occupant. Flicking through the channels, the greatest Bollywood film director eventually came across Channel 13, home to Stink News. It was the same video he had paid 30 crores of rupees to prevent its circulation and to facilitate its destruction. He began to shake and sweat looking at himself naked on the screen with a long whip in his right hand. He was slashing the naked body of Ifat Khan, who was screaming with loud shrills from the terrible pain he was inflicting upon her delicate body. His private parts were fully exposed and his penis was standing like an old rusty metal rod stuck to his hairy body. Ifat's young and sexy breasts were jumping up and down with every lash of the whip against her naked body. Her privates were completely uncovered. She was sweating from head to foot. There were drops of blood falling from her shoulders. She was shouting from the terrible agony that he was inflicting upon her. When the young Hindu girl heard the powerful gunshot, she was still dog paddling in the water. She thought that someone was trying to kill her. Therefore, she came out of the water and ran to the bedroom. She found Mahmud Khan flailing on the floor with a pool of blood forming around his head. Terrified, she bolted out of the room shouting, "Someone has shot Mahmudji, someone has killed Mahmudji." All his guards, servants and maidservants heard her words and came running to the bedroom. They found Mahmud Khan lying on the floor and blood splattered over a large area near his head. One of the guards picked up the phone immediately and called the police. When the Kandala police arrived, they found the greatest of all Bollywood film directors lying dead in his bedroom. The cause of death was recorded as a suicide from a bullet fired at point-blank range. It entered his brain from the right temple, riddled his brain and exited the cranium in the center of the left temple.